Okay, I think we're live now. Here's crossing my fingers that everything works properly. Getting this stream all together was a little bit of a hassle for some reason. Nothing was working like it should. But, as always, I'm a little early, so we'll give it like 4 minutes, and then we can get going. Draw at cat dig style. I know what cat dog is, but I have no idea what cat dig is. You're gonna have to enlighten me. I already pre-decided all of the styles for the stream, for the wheel, so I probably won't be taking any more. I've got like 40 on the wheel. It's pretty locked and loaded right now, so I'll explain more of that when we get there. Hey, Tui. Glad you can make it. No worries, Green Dot. I was just being silly. Don't worry about your old Nate. I'm just being goofy, because that's the kind of person I am. Do cat dog style. Maybe another time if I do this, like a stream like this again. Like I said, I already pre-decided all the styles, and cat dog is not one of them, so. Another time it shall be, if I decide to do this again. Yeah, I tried to shoo off the Family Guy me from intruding this stream, but it couldn't be helped. So he's just here now. I don't know what to do. Morning, Daydreamy. Welcome. For me, at least, it's like afternoon time, because I'm Central Time. It's like almost 1 o'clock. It still feels like morning hours, though. I'm kind of pooped today. I'm a little bit sleepy, but hopefully that won't drag me down. I'm gonna not let it win. I will prevail with my stupid drawings. It's 12:58 now, so a couple more minutes. Let's see if you do the space goof style. Probably not gonna do space goofs either. Again, all the styles have been predetermined. So, I'm not gonna throw any more on the wheel. We got like 40 different styles that I can choose from. And they're gonna be selected at random, so. Want to see you draw an Edda and A style. Well, that's on the wheel, so maybe. Again, I'm not gonna pick and choose styles. I'll explain more about that once we get properly started. But just so y'all are aware. And also, hi, Basty. Hope you're having a good one, mate. He's like, get out of my house! Can't stand your goofy looking face. There you go. Okay, let's see if you do the 1930s Terrytoons style. That's not on the wheel either, I don't believe, but I'm not even sure what the Terrytoons looked like back in the 1930s. I'm really only familiar with like the 40s and 50s Terrytoons. And I guess the early Aesop's Fables, but that's about it. I'm not very well versed in Terrytoons, or Paul Terry's stuff in general. Well, I guess I know a lot of Gene Deitch's 50s cartoons. Okay, it is 1 o'clock. Let me hog down some water and we can get properly started here. Ah, refreshing. Okay. So welcome, folks. Welcome to another live stream already. It really didn't feel that long ago since the last one, but, you know, it feels like time is moving ever so faster in this very short existence. Minus the existentialism, though. Glad you all can make it. We're finally doing something a little bit more high concept, at least by my standards this time. So let me try to lay down the deal for you. So today's stream premise is I'm going to be drawing my own characters in various different art styles. And by that I mean styles of like animated movies, TV shows, individual artists, and literally anything else in between. As many of you might already know or have surmised, being a professional artist, it's kind of essential to be a chameleon in the industry, and by that I mean being able to adapt to any sort of visual style or medium that you're called for. So it's kind of important that you're not stuck to just one thing. And I kind of don't want to be stuck being the cartoon guy, obviously, because that might limit my job opportunities and all that stuff, and my growth as an artist too. So that's partly why I'm doing this, as a way to like kind of throw myself in and get some experience in, just to give this a shot. And also just because it's gonna post some fun challenges, because I've got some odd looking characters, and I feel like there are certain combinations that we're gonna have today that I'm probably gonna be stumped and be like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, it's gonna force me to kind of think outside the box with a lot of this stuff, which that's always exciting, right? If nothing else, it's entertaining. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. What water are you drinking? I'm just drinking water. It's just tap water. We have a fridge, we have an ice machine, and we have water in said fridge, so I just grab some tap water, that's it. Opening a Ko-Fi commission if I got time. Oh, I heard you were opening commissions, yeah. Maybe I'll go fetch one. It depends on whether I remember I've got the money for it. Because I don't always have the money for these there things. But it is what it is. How could we try out the Gaumont Multimedia Early Zillum style? I don't know what either of those styles are, honestly. But I know they're not on the wheel. Okay, so let me explain this then. Let me explain the wheels, because this is going to be important. Let's just go over the rules of this little game, even though there's not a lot of stakes in it. So here's how we're going to format the stream today. I've got a roster right here of my own set of characters. This isn't all of them, obviously. I'm just, for the sake of the stream, limited to like just all the characters I had on Art Fight this year. Because I technically got a lot more, but I don't intend to go through all of these guys. That would be a little bit excessive. So I've got all these characters, and I got them all on this wheel right here. If it's going to display, hopefully it does. I've got all of them on a single wheel. So the way we're going to work this is we're going to spin this wheel first. This will help me decide which character to go for, which character to start out with. And then once we've got our character selected, we're going to go to the second wheel, which has a list of different artists, shows, some movies, stuff like that. Basically the general styles of these things, of these artists and these IPs. And a lot of these are ones that I decided on my own, but others were viewer suggestions from the day before. So that's what this whole list consists of, and there's 40 of these here, so like I said, we're going to be really well locked and loaded here. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to get through like a quarter of these. So once we get our character, we're going to give this wheel spin, and then we'll draw whatever character I get with whatever style I get, and we'll see where that takes us. I don't have any timers with me because I don't want to limit myself too bad. I just want to have a fun time. I feel like a timer might stress me out a little bit more. So that's how this is gonna go. We'll just do as many rounds as we can till 3 o'clock or so. But as usual, I might go a little over. I think for my announcement posts with these streams, I might as well just start writing like 1 to 3:30 because a lot of them seem that way. I was a little shocked when I realized that our last stream went for like 3 hours. So hopefully I can dodge that again. Holy moly. Let's hope things go well if any of the art styles aren't hard for you. Well, some of these I purposely picked because they would be a bit tricky. Although a lot of these were like personal tastes, like personal favorite artists. Some of these are like largely different from my normal style, so that's why I intentionally picked them, because I knew they'd cause me a little trouble. That's kind of the whole point. That's why you're not going to see like the Spumco style or the Ren and Stimpy style on this wheel at all, because like, yeah, duh, I'm already kind of doing it. Do you know every art style? Have you studied them? I have not studied all of them. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. So it's going to be kind of tricky because there's definitely a difference between like replicating a style or like basically drawing a character like another character in that said style, if you know what I mean by that. So I'm going to try to avoid that as much as I can. Otherwise, no, I have not studied any of these, or very few of them. So that's going to cause me even more trouble. But hey, that's more entertainment for you, the audience. Maybe he did, but he isn't Harry Gold who can copy anything with no sweat. I'm no Harry Gold, no. But I feel like that's what we all should aspire to be, is like a Harry Gold. Like I said, where you're a chameleon and you can basically draw in any visual style that you want to, just with perfect ease. I'd like to get to that point. No, never mind, he's screwed. I'm screwed. Speaking of screwed, let's get started, shall we? Okay, let's go. So let's go to my character wheel. Let's get our first character going. I'm going to shuffle the wheel beforehand because they're all organized in alphabetical order. And we'll see who we get. Let's spin. We spinning. We be spinning. He be spinning! He be spinning! Alright, my character is Molly Hamilton. So before we go any further, let me get the model sheet up for her. I think I've got it up here. There's Molly Hamilton. This is a character we're going to be working with. First off, I just bonked my bonked my wires there. So let's give her her own folder. I'll paste that in there. That'll be our reference, so I'll keep that in the corner. Now, what style do we have to draw in? This is going to be the big deal breaker. I'll shuffle this wheel. Okay, I'm simultaneously really excited and really scared. That's how it's going to be this entire stream, so let's see what we get. Well, this one might not be too bad. Tom Ruger, which in this case is like a blanket term for basically 90s Warner Brothers television. So shows like Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Freakazoid, all that stuff. So this one might not actually be too bad. So give me a second. Let me dig through my find some references here. Give me 1 second. Zeom style does have a bit of a Spumco Ren Stimpy influence. Well, let me look up that style then. I'm kind of curious about that. Oh, okay, yeah, the space goofs and the Augie and the Cockroaches guys. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And Ziggy and Sharko, yeah. That would make sense, yes. There's definitely a little bit of influence there with those shows. It's kind of obvious sometimes. So, let's see. I'm gonna try to get some, like, good reference images here so I can nail this. Okay. I want to get the aesthetic down. Because, like, the style of Animaniacs and, like, Pinky and the Brain and stuff like that, it's definitely a tad different than my own style, for instance. You gotta get one of the Animaniacs in there. Let's get Pinky and the Brain in there as well. I'm trying to grab, like, direct screenshots from the shows as a way to help out. Because otherwise, like, the stock images and sometimes fan art isn't always the most helpful thing. Okay. And maybe, like, one more from Freakazoid as well. Let's see. Those shows were very wacky, expressive, and have smoother lines, with a beat of cartoony joke when they move. Yeah, Ruger's shows are very fun. I haven't seen all of them. My exposure really has just been Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, but I love those two a lot. They're really amazing. Honestly, some of my favorite 90s animation ever. Just peak, if you ask me. The creator worked for Sushi Pack. What the heck is Sushi Pack? What is that? Wow. Okay, huge nostalgia blast. Holy crap, what? Okay. Yeah, I've heard of this. I've definitely heard of this. I had no idea that Tom Ruegger had any involvement with this series. Not that I actually saw the show at all, but for some reason some of the Flash games for this series showed up on a lot of sites that I played Flash games on when I was a kid. So that's probably where I recognize those characters from, but like, yeah, I haven't thought about those guys in forever. That's wild. Absolutely crazy. 2020 reboot, obviously bad mistake. Then I watched the original show. It's very good for sure. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but like, gosh, the reboot sucks so bad. It's one of those things that just gets worse with time. Like initially, you think to yourself, "Well, this ain't too bad. This feels kind of like the original show." And then you go back and watch some of the original show, and you're just like, "Wow, okay, never mind." uh, it's really painful. Okay, so gotta add some more three-dimensional eyes. They're a little bit more Ruger shaped. Hello, Hugh Jarsel. That's how you say your name. Hopefully. I'm really bad with the names, so if that didn't really go over well, I'm sorry. You know what? Here's what I'm actually gonna bring up. I feel like since we're drawing a human, it might be more helpful if we had something along the lines of like Buttons and Mindy or Elmira, something of that nature. Hold on. There she is. We'll just settle with our Elmira for now. I'll grab Buttons and Mindy if I feel like I need that extra boost of help. Howdy channel, because you have a nice Ren and Stimpy style. Oh, thank you. If this stream isn't making it obvious, I do really want to tend to find my own voice, and I've been trying to do that for years. Obviously, Ren and Stimpy's a huge influence, and I love that show to death. But yeah, I want to find my own sort of aesthetic. Something I'm working towards. It's something kind of like that. We gotta have the lawn eyelashes. I forgot, are they at the bottom? Yeah, they're at the bottom, so I'll just put them like that. Gotta give her a bit more of a forehead. Luckily we got a Wacko on this corner, so I'll just borrow his cap for Molly over here. We can go from there. Favorite character from the series? Rita and Ron, very underrated duo. I mean, you really can't go wrong with the Warners. I think those segments, for me, are consistently the most funny and most memorable. But in terms of, like, the side characters, I don't know, man. I have a really soft spot for the Good Feathers. It's just... it's such a stupid concept executed in the most, like, ridiculous way possible of, like, these gangster pigeons. But they're so funny. I don't know how else to describe it. I love the Good Feathers a lot. And Pinky and the Brain are great as well, of course. Slappy Squirrel is also top tier, if I'm being honest. That's also some of the best that show has to offer. And it's really sad that she didn't get her own spin-off. It is what it is. Because during this decade, we see more talents taking influence from 90s creator stuff opposed to the Tumblr invasion of the 2010s. Yeah, I wonder why. Not that modern animation's bad, obviously. I'm not trying to make like some generic comment just like, ooh, old stuff's better. It's just like, I feel like the 90s was almost like a second animation renaissance where a lot of artists and cartoonists were able to have creative control again. And we're kind of almost reverting back to 80s a little bit, just with like how the system works, not necessarily the creativity, as I'm saying. We've probably not had like as fruitful of a time for artistry and creativity as right now, especially with the internet and people being able to make their own projects independently. But as for like the actual industry, yeah, it's kind of sad. Yeah, Slappy the Squirrel absolutely slaps. Pun totally intended. Toriyama style, please? I think he's on the wheel. I think I threw him on there. Yeah, Toriyama's on there. Yeah, I threw him on just out of respect for the guy, and also, you know, I thought he'd be fun to try. Even though I haven't seen anything from anything from like Dragon Ball or his work, I still really respect it. So okay. Oh, I'm getting my layers mixed up, folks. That's not good. What kind of nonsense is this? Okay. Man, it's 1:18 already? What is going on, man? Hey, Gabby, welcome! Glad you could make it. Can't stay, but hope you have a good stream. Thank you. I'm gonna try my best. I'm not in the highest spirits right now, just in terms of energy. Like, otherwise, I mean, I'm fine. It's just, I'm a little tired right now. But yeah, I'll do my best. Glad you could stop by. Now that the kids that grew up are heading to the industry, is my guess. Yeah, that's true. The folks that grew up on cartoons like that are now creating their own shows or like working on stuff like this, so that's probably why. It's a generational thing. It's probably that nostalgia. Which I think is completely fine. So with these styles that I'm attempting, I'm going to try to like mimic the line work and the coloring aesthetics as much as I can too. Just so I can really match the look the best that I can. Because otherwise, if I just use my regular inking style, I mean, you're really not going to notice a difference. So honestly, okay, did you take a voice acting class? If yes, how did you feel? I've never taken any voice acting classes. I've never really considered voice acting like a career path for me. It's just something I do on the occasion when I just feel like voicing a character. I just find it more fun than anything else. But I don't know. I'm not really sure what is involved in a voice acting class, if I'm being honest. I'm actually kind of curious about that. I don't think, like, all of the voice actors on my projects have all been like friends and family, basically, up until this point. That may or may not change with my pilot extraterrestrial escapades. I've kind of been thinking, well, maybe I probably want to hire more professional voice actors for that. But I'm still thinking it over. I've still obviously got like a script to revise and all that stuff, so I got time, but it is something I am thinking about. Trying to mimic that cell look a little bit, where like the line work is definitely not perfect by any stretch of the word. It's a little bit messy. Because if you ever look at an actual animation cell, yeah, they're rarely ever that nice and clean looking. They can be pretty messy sometimes. How about Jim Tyre style for a fitting character? Jim Tyre's on the list, so I'm really hoping we get Jim Tyre. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about, and that's just a mispronunciation. Because, yeah, I'm kind of a Jim Tyre nut. That man's a genius. Yeah, wrong typo. I see that. Covering your canvas. No, it is! Okay, hold on. Let me... No! I knew this was going to be a problem. I'm sorry, folks. I messed up. I messed up real bad. Y'all get a free cookie at the end of this as apology. Oh, I feel so stupid. Why didn't anybody else say anything? Whatever. Always felt muddled as to what Arrow is supposedly meant to be, without anything deliberate intent. Marmite, you either love him or hate him. Well, in my case, I love him. I don't know. It kind of felt like Animaniacs almost wanted to be its own thing. Like it took influence from 30s, 40s, and 50s and just kind of did its own thing with its own sort of brand and style of humor. And, you know, it wasn't always the same thing over and over and over again. They tried different things. That's my impression, at least. So it felt like that show really did have a solid identity, if you ask me. I just think it was... I lost my train of thought, sorry. If anything, I feel like the reboot had an identity crisis almost, because it almost felt like, well, we gotta try to be like the original show, but we also gotta be like modern and make references and make humor about like what the kids are into these days, what people are talking about. So, in that sense, I think the reboot has more of an identity crisis problem than the original. So there are two ways of adapting art style: adapted version and an accurate version, the latter being based if the character was intended for the media. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make the characters look like they belong in these universes rather than just me, like I said, copying a style based on like a particular character. I really want to nail the aesthetics down. Obviously, it's harder to do it on the fly when, you know, you're just compile a bunch of random styles together and then you're hoping for the best. But I think that looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. So let's get that colored. This one turned out fairly good. Wacko is so relatable. Wacko is my spirit animal, dude. He is the best. He's me. He's literally just me. That's why I love him so much. You eat rocks because you have no other choice. I eat rocks because I want to. We are not the same. Just taking the character, yeah. Have you done Adventure Time style yet? Well, I just got started. This is the first style I'm doing, so I haven't really made a lot of progress. Adventure Time is not on the wheel that I have for deciding the style, so you probably won't see Adventure Time. But I've got tons of other styles that are kind of waiting to go here, so you'll see some more stuff. I can assure you. Just saw Eddie Fitzgerald on your wheel. Like a style as I thought me to loosen up and draw cartoon figures with clearer and more complex poses. Yeah, Eddie Fitzgerald is kind of interesting, especially with the way he draws hands. He's very deliberate with the way he draws his hands. And I was tuning into an interview that he did. I forgot with who, but it was like an interview that lasted like 4 hours. It was amazing, obviously. It was a great interview. But he really stressed on like how important it was to really focus on like the hands. Your hands are almost like you can use them as like a second. They're actors basically. Your hands are actors. So you really want to use those hands as like a powerful expressive tool when you're doing your drawings. And he recommended, when you're drawing a pose, draw the hands first. That's like a little cheat that you can do to establish a pose pretty well. Get those hand placements right. So, he's an interesting dude. You're right on time then. Big womps. Yeah. I'm all about them big womps here. Okay. Again, I want to get the shading down too. I'm sorry I'm taking so long on this, folks. I'm just legitimately kind of stoked with how this is turning out. If anything, I'm more so sorry that you guys couldn't see what I was doing for Lord knows how long because I had my stupid wheel in the way. Probably not going to be able to get past that. Trying to hurry up with the cell shading a little bit so we can just kind of move on. Because I've been spending a lot of time on this one. Okay. As for this, not much you can do with that. Okay. Probably do some shading on the top of the head there. There's an empty spot. Here's some shading on the eyes, and then we'll be good to go. So anyone asked you what your experience has been like after your influencer video blew up? I guess some things have changed. Not a lot, I guess. It was just kind of a miracle, if I'm being honest. I really didn't think much of it. In a way, I hoped that it would do better because I spent so much time on it. But even now and again, I notice it'll like views on it will spike and then kind of go back down again and spike again. It is nice in one way that finally there's something that I'm known for, like that I'm actually proud of, instead of like something like the dumb Kowalski animatic, which I really didn't think much of at all. But I don't know. I'm just glad that people are actually watching my content, discovering me more through that animation, I guess. But otherwise, I'm just kind of like, it's cool. That's about it. Okay. There's Molly in the Tom Ruger style. Let me actually get my stinking text out of the way there. There she is. Alright. That was a pretty good start. So, let's get back to our characters finally. About a half an hour later, again, sorry. I'm so slow. I'm just gonna X her off, just so we don't have to worry about that again. Okay, next character. Let's go back to the character wheel. And here's hoping that I remember to minus out the wheel again so you guys don't have to stare at it all the time. Because that won't be really fun. So I'm going to take Molly off the wheel, so we don't get her as a duplicate again, because that would suck. Shuffle again, and let's spin the wheel. And we're going with... we're going with my man Gordo. Okay, this could either be really good or really bad. It depends on the style that I get. I guess we're going to find out. Let me get his reference sheet up first. There he is. Such a goofy fat man. Gordo. There he is. Just shrink him in the corner. Alright, and let's see. Let's see what style I get. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be just fine. Let me... Hold on, let me get Tom Ruger off first. There he is, because we don't need Ruger on here. I've already done you once, buddy. Shuffle. Okay, here we go. What are they gonna curse me with? Oh, that's perfect, actually. John R. Dilworth. I'm completely fine with this. Yeah. Let's do it. I'll just get him off the wheel. Okay, that's gonna be a good one. This is a good combo. So let me get some of Dilworth's work up. To any of you who whose name Dilworth doesn't immediately ring a bell, that's the Courage the Cowardly Dog creator. Yep, Courage. You got it. Actually, in all honesty, though, when it comes to Dilworth's work, I haven't really seen a lot of Courage, if I'm being honest. I'm actually more familiar with most of Dilworth's solo work, like his independent short films, and some of his, like, other projects of that sort. Not really Courage. But, I don't know, I'm a big fan of his work. It's really interesting. Super unique. Dirty Birdie is one of my favorite shorts, honestly. It's such a goofy thing. Okay. Yeah, almost forgot about this cartoon too. Smart Talk. Definitely gotta add that into the pile. Let's see if I can't get an image from like his new short that he's been touring lately. Howl If You Love Me. Yeah, I know. Will they be ugly or normal abstract, since the designs range in different sizes, shapes, and expressions? I'll figure that out. I kind of want to channel, like, the weird side of Dilworth's style a little bit if I can. Because his style is, in general, just kind of strange. Which is the appealing part of it to me. So you'll probably see weirder colors and maybe just odder shapes in general. I really want to channel his more bizarre artistic influences. Okay. See, I was kind of quaking for a moment because I was afraid that I was going to get like a combination like Gordo in the Bob's Burgers style, which would have been absolutely horrible. That would have been so bad. Would have made for a great meme, but I would have been suffering the entire time, so I'm happy about that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do about Gordo. I'm gonna give him like a weird head shape to start out with. Courage is totally worth the watch. So many iconic moments. I'm aware of a lot of like the more iconic moments, but I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Courage. I've been thinking about picking up like the complete series DVD. We sell that at Walmart for like $20, which is actually pretty good. Pretty good deal when it comes to complete series DVD. So yeah, I'm probably gonna give that a shot. I would like to experience at least some of Courage. It just looks so deranged and strange, which, as many of you know, is kind of right up my alley. Okay, I gotta try to... I think his, like, Dilworth's teeth usually are a little bit more, like, crooked like this, right? Just a little bit stranger. Yeah, this was a good one to go with. I am at least aware of, like, most of the really famous Courage stuff. like the really deranged crap, like You're Not Perfect, or just any of the CGI bits in that. It really seems wild. 90s Cartoon Network was truly a different time. I'm not even sure if Courage would be a show that would fly on kids' television these days. Outside of the episode with the cat and bunny. Yeah, I'm not sure what that one is. It doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head. Okay, let's get the neck a little bit more well positioned here. What would you say inspired you to start and keep up illustration? I guess a lot of things. It was like a cultivation of many different things, like pieces of media that I experienced as a kid, or just desires that I had. I guess what drives me right now at the current time is I feel like I have a need to leave some sort of positive impact on the world, something that will outlast me. So in that regard, I want to create content and create art that brings people joy, makes them laugh, that gives them a new perspective on the world. I know that's kind of a generic answer, but I mean, it really just does boil down to that. I want something to outlast me that will benefit the good of humanity somehow. But of course, when you're a kid, you don't really think about that stuff. You just are like, drawing funny. Or it's just something you do because that's like something all kids, most kids anyway, they just kind of do. So to phrase it this way, I kind of was talking about this in my very first stream, a year and a half ago now, somewhere around that time. But I worded it really terribly. I think I was trying to say something like, I want to do, through my art, I want people to experience the same things I do when I watch something like a Miyazaki movie, or when I watch a Looney Tunes cartoon. I want to do the same things, I want to achieve the same things that those things do for me with my own work. If that makes any sense. If I worded that better than I did before. Nah, that's not generic, such a real answer. Okay, well, I'm glad. I think I get a little self-conscious about stuff like that sometimes. Just looking at his line work here, it is quite thin, but I guess it does vary on the sort of short that we're looking at. But I'm noticing it's a little thinner and it's a little bit cruder, which is very fitting for Dilworth's sensibilities. Can't wait to see if Peppo or Garcia Ferre style joins in the wheel of the very far future. Those names sound familiar. They're not ringing the bell for what exactly it was they worked on though right away, so I might have to look into that later. Yeah, for this one I really want to mess with the colors, because Dilworth really loves his crazy, vibrant, very clashing colors, which are obviously all very intentional, you know. I really admire artists like Dilworth whose artistic influences kind of very much verge away from just other animation or other animators. It's his work is so surreal because he's kind of an enthusiast in just the surreal and the weird. But because of that, it really gives his work an identity that most other cartoonists don't really have. And I think that's what we all should strive for as artists, find influence not just in other artists that are in your same medium or your same field. Look at the entire artistic spectrum. See what everybody is doing. Don't forget the sound effects. Oh yeah, the crazy sound effects. The song that plays during Dirty Birdie is forever stuck in my head. It lives there rent-free. I think it was in SpongeBob too, if I recall. I don't remember exactly, but I feel like I remember hearing it in SpongeBob. Should look up courage in an eggplant suit. I have that tattooed in my art. I think I know what you're talking about, yeah. I think I've seen that before. It's basically like just the equivalent of, for me, the equivalent of Brian Griffin in a banana costume. Of course, it's just better because it's courage. And not Brian Griffin, but, you know, some people might think otherwise. I don't know. There we go. Gotta get them wacky teeth in there. Maybe some gums as well. That's kind of part of his aesthetic. That's what that music is from. Exactly. Yes, it's from Dirty Birdie. Yep. And it was used in SpongeBob as well. I'm pretty sure that track existed long before Dirty Birdie or SpongeBob, really. But I'd have to do some research on that because I don't know off the top of my head. He can take things way too real, like the episode The Mask that dealt with domestic abuse. Yeah, uh-huh. That's right. I almost forgot about that. Again, Courage was a wild show. But even some of like Dilworth's independent work, when it's not for laughs, it can get really oddly philosophical at times. If you've ever seen Dilworth in any interviews, he's just a weird guy. Obviously not in like the bad way, it's just his mannerisms are like really uniquely his, and what he discusses is very uniquely him. It's very personal. So in that way I really respect him. That's the Cat and Bunny episode. Yeah. The Big Laugh. Yep, that's the track name. I wonder where that was originally issued, that track. I'll have to do some research. But yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was made for that Dilworth short, but that's good to know. Works out that Gordo has eyelashes because that's kind of a trademark of Dilworth stuff anyway, are the eyelashes. And also like the asymmetry in his work too. Like nothing is even. Literally nothing. It's all really wobbly. It, for me, really adds to the surrealness of his stuff. It's just really bizarre. Okay, I want to actually try to do this a little bit closer to what I was envisioning with the horns there. Because I feel like he would probably do something more like swirls. There we go. I'm trying to do this a little quicker, and I think it's working because we're at 1:44. So I've only spent, what, like 14 minutes on this? That's still pretty long, dude. Maybe he's got like seashells, like straight lines like this. This is how I imagine Dilworth would probably do this. Okay, there we go. And now we gotta get them colors in there. Have you watched A Memoir of a Snail or heard of it? I've heard of it plenty of times, yeah, and I've still have yet to see it. I heard it's really excellent, though. So, I gotta... Just that guy's work in general. I keep forgetting his name. Can we suggest other art styles for future parts? Yeah, if I do more streams like this, sure. I can definitely fish for more suggestions, because I got plenty at the table, but if we go through a decent amount, I'm definitely going to have some slots open. If you guys want more stuff like this, I can definitely do it. Okay, there we go. That's what I was missing, just the really random, like, insides of the eye just showing, because, you know, another Dilworth trademark there. I probably should multi-layer this. And then as for the teeth, we've got to make them like multiple colors. So we can have like some white, some kind of yellowish, one really blue. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll have one eye really green. It's got to be like a more nuanced green. Like that. Something like that. It's got to be like a different color though. Like maybe something a little bit more bluish like that. There we go. That's better. Then we'll have like... that can probably be green as well. Yeah, this is a little weird looking, but that's what we're going for. Please do more streams like this. I'm hooked. Okay, you got it. I'll try to do more streams like this. Of this particular nature. I know it's not the most fast-paced thing in the world, but happy you guys are liking what you see. It makes me feel a little bit better about this whole thing. Okay. You'll do green eyes there. Here's what we'll do. We'll make these kind of more subtle color. There we are. Line work's a little messy at times, but again, I'm just trying to imagine them like trying to replicate the style of cell animation a little bit, where the line work, the inking, and the Xeroxing, whatever you want to call it, isn't entirely perfect. It's a little bit messy. Yeah, get some of that, the nasty gums in there. Here's what I'll do to make this a little bit more interesting. Just completely green that part out. There we go. That's more like it. There we go. Beautiful. That is more like it. Get you in there. Chatting is better than fast-paced stuff. Yeah, in all fairness, I agree. Like, the reason I like doing these streams the most in the first place is that I get to chat with you folks. It's just nice to get caught up with my audience and what everybody's been doing. It's just nice to chat like this. And that's why I like them. They're nice and casual. Not doing anything like super intense or anything of that sort. Just having fun. And with whoever decides to kind of show up and whatnot. Okay. There's Dilworth style Gordo. I think that came out rather nice. So I think we're good to go with this one. Alright, that one, I was relieved. We got a fitting style for Gordo. That gives me a lot of comfort. Alright. Let's move on to the next character then. Cross out Gordo. We don't need him. Let's go back to the character wheel. Alright. Yeah, this character wheel. I'll knock Gordo off the list. There we go. Gonna shuffle again. And let's spin it. Let's see what we get. Are we gonna get anybody good? Oh, who's it gonna be? Uh-huh. Matthew Groundbeef. Okay. We can work with Matthew. Let me get his ref sheep up. Did I call it a ref sheep? Is that what I seriously called it? Feel free to clip that if you guys so desire. I really couldn't care less at this point. Oh, let me save my canvas actually. Might be kind of important. Alright. Got that taken care of. We'll paste Matthew in there. And there's that. And now the scary part, what style are we going to draw him in? And I already moved the last one, so. Shuffle again. Take another spin. Yeah, good old ref sheep. Beep, beep, I'm a sheep. Ooh, another easy one, Pat Ventura. Okay, short. This one actually might be pretty quick. Alright. Let me go get some references images up. I can't speak for the life of me today. What is wrong with me, guys? I don't know. Pat Ventura. Bob's Burgers, I bet. We're probably gonna get Bob's Burgers at some point here. I think that is a possibility. I think it's foreseeable. I'm just gonna hope that's for, like, a fitting character. Okay, so let me get some Pat Ventura drawings up. I guess, speaking of odd duck cartoonists, Pat Ventura, anyone? This guy's work is legitimately, like, psychotic. But they're pretty genius. Okay. Should probably get a couple of drawings from Yucky Ducky. Here we go. I think of the original What a Cartoon shorts for Cartoon Network. Pat Ventura's work stands out a lot to me. Like I said, just how deranged it is. Not necessarily that it's, like, disturbing, it's just, like, it's so, like, crude and, like, it's so fast-paced. It's, like, it's hard to follow his stuff sometimes. But it's really funny stuff. It's really entertaining. I don't think I know the guy, sadly. Yeah, he's not very well known. Like, I think his stuff for What a Cartoon is probably his most notable work. He really never got his own show or played an important part in, like, another. I'm not even sure if he's doing anything anymore, if I'm being honest. Like, his presence online has gone cold for years. So, who knows what he's doing in his own neck of the woods, but his work lives on. So, the problem is, how am I gonna Venturify this rather reserved-looking man? Pat Ventura is the perfect artist to me. For me, I would probably describe him as like the most perfect imperfectionist. Because, like, his drawings are so strange and, like, they're so, I mean, they're really simple and they're just really, they're not clunky, they're just very, I'm not trying to find a good word for him, but it's not really coming to mind. I guess crude, again, like I said, but they've got such an energy to them that it's hard to deny. Okay, so all the eyes on Ventura's characters are always together, so we gotta bring him close with Matthew here. So let's start with that. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta make his eyes like one oval that way and one that way, or something like that. Or are they like both ovals? I guess it just depends on like the drawing. So we're just gonna do this. Wait, so you're telling me this isn't the Angry Beavers guy? I don't think so. Hold on, I'm not too familiar with Angry Beavers. Did he make that? I thought it was somebody else that created that show. Yeah, Mitch Schaller. Did he work on Angry Beavers? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. The secret to Venturifying is crazy eyes. Exactly. Just absolute insane eyes. That's the secret. That's the secret sauce. That's the secret to his style. This is the word I'm looking for. Unrestrained. His style is like completely unrestrained madness. Like, as if it's like some guy just like completely ignoring every single like artistic animator's like rule in the book and just going nuts with his own thing. That's exactly what this is. But again, it makes for like a really distinct uh, art style, a really distinct like sort of directorial image. It's just like, okay, I don't. It's like some guy just going like, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna go nuts. Well, there you go. This is screaming Ventura to me now. Now that I'm on the roll here. Hoping to the next style goes to Danny Antonucci's. It would be interesting to try some Edda and Eddie type stuff. So maybe we'll get him. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's all gonna depend on the will of the wheel. Yeah, I like how this is turning out now. This screams Ventura at this point. What's anatomy? Exactly. Exactly. When it comes to Ventura, it's just energy's always first. Yeah, because that's a very Ventura-esque arm. Now this is gonna sound like complete nonsense to some of you probably, but I guess a caution to artists who are like younger artists specifically who are like really into Ventura stuff. Like, no, this doesn't mean that like, okay, I have complete freedom to just not draw well or just draw really weirdly, because here's the thing with Ventura's style, you almost have to kind of understand like a lot of the principles and the practice behind it, because his drawings are kind of similar to like Milt Gross, who's another really crazy cartoonist, where like when you look at them, they really don't look very sophisticated, but when you actually go in to study them, there's a lot of the principles in play, and a lot of like every line is very intentional. So I think for some younger artists, it's easy to like look at Ventura's and not pause to take a moment to really appreciate like the specific craftsmanship that really goes into his style. So I just noticed that because I notice a lot of like younger animators, like more inexperienced ones, when I see they're trying to do like cartoonier cartoons, that like they'll really model after Ventura's without understanding like what makes his style work per se. So that's enough of my little ramble. He draws weird with purpose. Exactly. It's not just because, well, I can get away with just drawing like this because there needs to be a reason for it. Well, in this case, I have a very valid reason because I'm just trying to mimic the style, so that's enough for me. So far, all the ones that I've tried thus far, though, all have very similar like line work styles, because they're all kind of from the same era, really. We've mostly been doing like all 90s. So I'm hoping here that the wheel will give us something to mix things up. We'll see, though. There we go. Okay, here I was being a little bit like scared that I wasn't going to be able to figure this out, but this is actually turning out really great. So I'm not so worried anymore. I think I don't remember who phrased it like this, but somebody described Ventura's work very excellently in like one sentence, where like his work almost feels like parodies of like what people expect a cartoon should be. Like they're almost parodies of just the idea of a cartoon. Like they're almost directly making fun of like all the tropes and how absurd everything gets. And I think that's a really great way of putting his work. It's like it's almost exaggerated to make a point where it's like, this is really stupid, so let's just make it stupid. I think that describes a majority of his cartoons really well. Especially when I think of something like the Yucky Duck cartoons, particularly, or like the Georgian Jr. Those are just... Wow, those are insane. Those are just really, really nutty pieces of work. But, I mean, they're... Like I said, they're really hilarious. Okay. It's 2 o'clock already. Why is it 2 o'clock already? Man. Well, I'm trying, folks. Like I said, I might go a little over like I usually do. I think it's just because I'm spending so much time on the line work. And like actually mimicking the styles the best I can. Because I really want to do that. That's what this whole stream's about. So in the end, I don't mind taking my time, I guess. Yep. Get that wideness in here. This guy's a wide dude. You're still streaming by the time I get back from my dad's birthday dinner. If not, you're doing amazing. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Well, at the very least, I'm probably gonna call the stream to an end like by 3:30. If I decide to go over, I might end it earlier, just depending on how I'm feeling. But I will leave this stream up so you can watch the rest of it, and hopefully when I get time, I can do a supercut. I've been really slow on those lately. Haven't even started the one from last stream yet, just because there's been a lot going on with my artwork and my life, and I've been working on several projects over the past few weeks, which has definitely taken up time. So, I don't know, I'm just kind of waiting for a window of opportunity where I actually can work on those and get a good chunk of work done. It's just been pretty difficult lately. That's why I like doing these streams, kind of, because it's almost like an escape, just like a temporary escape from all that. I can just focus on just having fun for a little bit. But yeah, hopefully I can actually get to making content again. That'd be kind of nice. But it is what it is. It's no big deal. Okay. Okay. There we go. Having a little bit of trouble with that hand. There we go. Alright, this lad is almost done. And we'll do it like that. Just a single solid line for the bottom. I think that'll suffice just perfectly. There we go. Okay, I kind of want to match the other shoe here. Yeah, that works out. Just going to be fun erasing this for sure, I can tell you that. Okay, there we go. Alright, there he is. Matthew Groundbeef. Beef. Beeth. I cannot speak for the life of me today. Maybe I should cut it short today. I don't know. Okay, I didn't have to delete that. Okay, let's get this man colored. Might do like bolder colors to match the aesthetic a little bit more. Because Ventura also has a pretty wacky use of colors in his stuff. Oh, that's not what I intend to do. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Maybe not. I'll do the shoes at least. Like maybe for this we'll stick with the dark maroon that I had going. And then as for the eye color, we'll do like a really weird like blue. Sort of like that. Whack! In a good way. Exactly. Okay, there you go. There's Pat Ventura, folks. This one turned out pretty good as well. I'm quite happy with it. Just get the name in there. Alright, beautiful. Glad that one went out okay. Got a little nervous again. I've been a very anxious boy today. Okay, so I've noticed we've been getting quite a few characters kind of closer in the middle. Let's see if the character wheel can't bless us with, like, a character of a different nature here. So first off, let me get rid of Groundbeef. One of the Groundbeefs, at least. Shuffle again. And let's spin! What's it gonna be? It's gonna be... Oh, it's Timothy! My boy Timothy! Okay, this one might be... I'll just remove it right away. This one might be kind of interesting, and hopefully quick. Hold on, let me get the ref sheet for my boy. There he is. I love him a lot. I just pasted the same image twice. Okay, let's get a folder for this guy. Timothy is my favorite. He's one of my favorites too, but like, I mean, all my characters are my favorites, obviously, but I love how this little guy came about. His creation was on complete accident, but I love him a lot. He means the world to me. I would die for this dude. But since he's so simple, style-wise, this could be either really good or really bad. So let's go to the style wheel. Let's see what we get. Hold on. Let me shuffle it first. All right, let's go. Here we go. Do I even want to look? Okay, there you go, Basey. We're getting Gym Tire. Okay. Another sigh of relief. I've been getting really lucky so far. I'm getting some of my favorite animation people. Okay, let's get some Gym Tire goodness up on the screen for you all. Yippee! Yeah, I know. Gym Tire's the best. This wheel is treating me rather nicely today. I'm not sure why, but I'm really happy about it. The wheel is just... It's on my favor today. I'm grateful for it. I'm kind of hoping it does treat me somewhat nastier later for entertainment value, because otherwise I'm just kind of drawing my characters in the styles of artists that I really cherish. They're dear to my heart and art. Okay, I gotta find some like Tire's weirder stuff. The unfortunate thing with Gym Tire, I mean, he's obviously got like a great drawing style, but like you can only really best appreciate his work when it's in motion, because he's just got the craziest. He's got the craziest animation style I've seen of any Golden Age animator. Even more so than Rod Scribner, because at least Rod Scribner, like, for as crazy as his scenes are, like, they're still really grounded in like animation principles. He's just like a real master of like exploiting those to the best of his abilities. That really fits his talents. But Tire is just he's a madman when he animates his stuff. It's like Bob Jakes put it best. It's like jazz music. It's so bizarre. It like moves so freely. But we'll take some of these illustrations he did because they're pretty fitting of his work. I didn't mean to squish that. Hey, I'm lurking today. Welcome, my good pal. Glad you could make it. Okay, we'll do that. Luckily, Timothy is a really simple boy, so hopefully this will mean this will go by pretty quick. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful anyway. you know me, I'm always hoping, but usually what I hope for doesn't always work out. But maybe it will. We'll see. Basty mentioned like Terrytoons really early on during the stream, and by like 50s, like 40s, 50s, and 60s Terrytoons, other than like Gene Deitch, like I really mean like my only exposure is like stuff from his work and mostly Jim Tyre, because otherwise I don't really find Terrytoons to be that terribly interesting. Like they're fine, but they're not remarkable. But then like you add like Jim Tyre into the picture, and all of a sudden you're like, all eyes are on these cartoons. It's just like, whoa, what's going on? Like what's up with all this like really funny creative movement going on and this really hilarious acting in the drawings? I don't know. It's something that like really makes me wish Tyre worked at some other studios instead of Terry's. Because can you imagine his talents on something over like Warner Brothers or I don't know, Tex Avery? Can only imagine what it would have been like if Tex Avery was able to really exploit his talent. I gotta give like the eyelashes a shot here. My birthday is on December 14th, and my twin sister is on the same day. Since you're the greatest artist online, can you create a celebration? Well, who knows how busy I will be till then. The closest I can offer is, I mean, I'm probably going to be streaming around that same time. Because I was looking at the calendar some time ago, and I realized that, okay, the last Thursday of, of December is Christmas Day, which means, yeah, that's not going to work with most people, including me. So, probably going to have to end up streaming, like, on, like, the 18th, so like a week before. So that'd be closer around that time. So something kind of similar like that. Tyre uses like a lot of like wrinkles in his work. His stuff is really organic. His art. Something like this. Okay, I'm liking how this is turning out. I just gotta kind of match them Tyre shapes a little bit better. I gotta channel in like my inner like 1920s kind of era of animation, because that's really where he stuck style-wise in all of his work, really. Okay, gotta like kind of get more solid forms in here. Less rotund, more solid. And I can allow the quirks to kind of show, because that's part of his style a little bit. But yeah, gotta get the wrinkles in there. Those are really important. I'll add those later. Okay, there we go. Come on, eyes. Come on, eyeballs. Work with me. There we go. That's how we're going to do it. You could probably do something like that. That's kind of Tyre-ish right there. Tyre-ish. That's a new coin. That's a new word I coined right there. Feel free to use it. He's looking really wrinkly. This is Timothy in his old age. It's not turning out too bad. The thing with Tyre is that I feel like there's already elements of his work that are very prevalent in my style, like kind of the way I draw eyes and the eyelashes in particular. So it is a little bit trickier to like kind of differentiate like how I normally draw with Tyre's a little bit. But I'm trying to get something that feels Tyre-ish. I want this to feel more like something Tyre drew rather than me. So I notice his pupils are a little bit more blocked off like this. Not too much, just very subtly. You can see that in a good amount of his drawings. He almost drew them kind of like lawn rectangles rather than just ovals. And as for the eyelashes, he almost kind of drew them like this. It's almost like straight from the top, thickest on the top, and then it gets kind of more skinny when you reach the actual eye. And then it's got a good amount of this going on too. The liner kind of above the eye, just a wee bit. Like so. Yeah, we're getting closer. That's screaming a little bit more Tyre to me than it was earlier, so. The real key is that the signature Jim Tyre smile. It's like really, like the line work gets really thick and bunched up, like where the mouth reaches like the cheek. That's kind of one of Tyre's signatures there. Just want to make sure I get that right. There we go. He's got like this kind of sort of cheek shape. I think he's also got this sort of thing happening. Yeah, there we go. That's screaming Tyre a little bit. What? Do I want to know what that is? That sounds so wrong. What? Must I? I have no idea what you're talking about, dude, by Pubic Patrick. No. First and foremost, this is not a request stream. So, I don't know, maybe another time? I'm so confused. Welcome to the stream, though. I don't think I've seen you here yet, so welcome to the club. Okay, there we go. And then, if I can't, we'll just do it like this. Well, gotta separate his top face a little bit. You still have to, I still have to draw it? No, I don't. I don't have to. I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna do it right now. I gotta draw my boy Timothy the Jim Tyre style. This is more important. Besides of which art style should I request? I think it'll be Toriyama, Masaki Yuasa, or could it be Feist? I'd be happy with all three of those. I'd be down for those. Because I'd love to do a Toriyami. Yuasa, he's one of my favorite anime directors. I just love his work, so yeah, I'd be down for that. And David Feiss, he's almost kind of like of the same ilk as Ventura a little bit, although he's almost a little bit more tame, a lot more tame than Ventura is, I would say, probably. But they both kind of got very similar energies. Well, that's not what I wanted to happen. Hold on. There we go. Nothing ever happened. Everything worked as it should have. Okay, and then this. Okay, this turned out a lot better than I was anticipating. I thought I was going to completely butcher this, but it's turning out okay, actually. So, I'll take it. Can't complain. Alright, there's Gym Tire Timothy. He's a good boy, and he's just as good when he's drawn in the style of Gym Tire. Write that down. Okay, beautiful. That worked out pretty well. Okay, so let's go back to our character selection. Cross out Timothy, because we're not going to draw him again. Just that one time. I have one. Aardman. Aardman would be a really fun one, yes. But it's all dependent on the wheels. So let's see what the wheels give us. Okay, already removed Timothy, so we'll shuffle and we'll spin again. Let's see who we get. It's the fan favorite. It's Maggie. We're gonna be drawing Maggie. Alright, let me get her up. Okay. She's in here. That's her. That's the girl. I'll get a folder for her. Luckily, I think Maggie, for a lot of these styles, I think can work in a lot of them. So I'm not too scared for what we get with her. So we'll just see what happens. I'm actually going to clear out some of this clutter a little bit. I don't need size slowing down just because I have all these files up. Okay. Let's go to the art style wheel. Shuffle. Spin. Okay, guys, come on. Give me something good. This wheel is spoiling me. Why are they're spoiling me right now? Seriously. Let me take a drink. Yeah, for those that don't know, Gene Deitch is like my favorite cartoonist ever. So this one will come pretty naturally for me. At least I'm hoping so. His style is pretty intricate, so I guess it'll just depend if I'm up to the task today. Alright, let me go fetch some Gene Deitch, however you want to pronounce it. Let me fetch some masterpieces of his. Because I could go on about this guy's work forever. Just name this ahead of time. So, his Record Changer magazine covers are like holy shrines of mine. I think every single one of them is just absolutely perfect. And there's the wheel again. And then his Terry Tunes and stuff like Tom Terrific, I'm also really fond of. If you won't draw Pubic P, then you can draw Hirohiko's Araki style or put on the wheel at least. I'm not putting anyone else on the wheel right now. No, I don't feel like it. We've got a lot to work with already. We've only done what 5 drawings, and we've got like 35 some minutes left. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that much more. And then let's see. I gotta get at least some of the Nunick stuff up here too. Let's see if I can actually get a screenshot from one of the cartoons. Okay, what's a good one? What's a good one to go with? We can go with this one. It's so small. It is what it is. The Nundick cartoons probably are some of my favorites ever. I love every single one of those shorts. They're just wonderful. All of Gene's stuff is really great. I even like the really bizarre, strange, alien-like Tom and Jerry's he did. I have all of them on DVD. They're so magnificently strange. Quick question. At the end of the character list, is that the blonde customer from... Yes, that is Brittany Bracegirdle from Narcissist Can't Be Choosers. She is down there. I'm not sure if we'll get her, but... yeah, she is on the wheel. I did redesign her a little bit so that way she would match the aesthetics of all my other characters. So, if you're wondering, like, wait, is that really her? Or am I just seeing things? Yeah, it's her. It's her. So, the thing about Gene Deitch, the part of his style that I really admire is that he's really all about simplicity. He uses the most simple of shapes and like the most simple of strokes, but it just really, whatever he draws, it just expresses so much energy and life. Make me sad personally, but I'm still going to watch because I like this in your work. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you not bailing out on me because of that. I'm obviously just like joking around, like, I don't know. I'm just playing. One of these days I'll draw Pubic Patrick. No, I don't even know what that is still. If I'm being honest. So I'm thinking... okay, I'm getting the wrong shapes here. Let's do something more like an oval. And then like a square, maybe. That's kind of like... or like maybe a neck that leads into a square almost. Aesthetically, I'm going to try to kind of like reach a middle ground between his Nudnik cartoons and his Terrytoon stuff. Which are both fairly different. Because I think the Nudnik cartoons have a little bit more complexity in the drawings. Not by much though. Next time, I hope she gets the most wacky style to show how egotistical she is. Like Chuck Jones, you know, she wants to do that Grinch smile. Well, that would be something. I actually want to do Brittany Bracegirdle in the King of the Hill style or something stupid like that. That'd be kind of funny. There we go. Your art style has changed over time. When I visited your channel, it had an original style with the picture with the logo. Yeah, I think my style is definitely evolving a little bit. It's changing. I mean, my style I think is always changing. Especially lately, I feel like for a long time I was just kind of comfortable with same old, same old. Is my wheel up again? What? If this happens one more time, if this happens again, I'm gonna cancel this stream and then all the other ones following it. I can't take this anymore. I'm a disappointment, literally. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah. Art style, yeah, it's just been evolving. The fact that I've been trying to broaden my horizons a little bit more, trying new things, just not being afraid to experiment with my work, I think has helped out quite a lot. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I had the wheel up again. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Hopefully it wasn't for too long, because that would be really embarrassing. That'd be stupid embarrassing. Can you do the Dragon Ball style? If we land on Toriyama, then yeah, I'll do the Dragon Ball style. But chances are we probably won't get him today. We'll see what happens. I'm just looking at what we've got. Depending on how much time we have left, I might end up doing like one or two more before the stream's out. Because part of me does wish I was able to crank out a little bit more. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll try to narrow in a little bit more of like Gene Deitch's own personal style in this. Okay, buddy, I think is not it's not showing the drawing is stuck on the wheel. At least you guys are looking out for me. I appreciate it. I'm completely hopeless without my audience. That's what I'm learning today. I hope that answered your question. I'm such a silly man. I really should be looking over at my phone more often to notice this stuff. C.H. Greenblatt, Chowder, Harvey Beaks, and Jellystone. C.H. Greenblatt is on the list somewhere. I don't remember where he is, but he is on the list. So, there's a chance we might get him. But we'll see. Again, it's all dependent on the will of the wheel. But yeah, something like C.H. Greenblatt might be pretty fun. He's got a pretty distinct visual style. Definitely channeling in like more like Tom Terrific or any of his other Terrytoons cartoons. Just trying to draw like really straight lines, but it's a little bit challenging. So I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. Don't tell mom on me. There we go. Yeah, this is starting to look pretty good. I'm just a huge sucker in general for mid-century art and design and cartoons and whatnot. I think of all of the artists, though, Gene Deitch definitely has my favorite approach to it. He's just kind of the artist that I've chose to gravitate towards when it comes to that style. Although I really love a lot of them. Okay. Just trying to get the circle right. This is not a circle, this is an oval. I'm trying to get the round shape right. Okay, there we go. I might make her eyes a little smaller so she still has a forehead. We'll see how that goes though. Got great shape for this artwork. Thank you. I'm liking the shapes that I've got going on right now for sure. Again, I'm really trying to aim for that simplicity that's so prevalent in Gene's style that I really admire. Okay, clear out some room here. I can't be singing while doing my stuff. Well, I can, but I don't want to make a show here. Okay, the hair. Well, I got the hair wrong entirely. I'm so used to how I drew her hair back in the day. So let's fix that right now. Okay. Do these like cute little ponytail shapes. They're almost like light bulbs or something. There we go. Can't be spending so much time on the line work, man. I want to do more drawings. Okay. that will probably be fine. I'm not going to be able to achieve complete, perfect symmetry anyway when I'm working this quick. So, it is what it is. And we're going to work with it. Put our ears a little lower. There we go. We'll keep them separate parts from, like, the face. Why not? Get more of them shapes on there. Because we need more shapes. There we go. Hi, Dennis. Welcome to the party. Glad you could make it. Yeah, I think you are new. I don't think I've seen you before. At least not in this stream. So, welcome to the club. Okay. Throw that down there. So I'm probably going to make the eyes a little bit smaller. Yeah, like I said. Okay, come on. This is like a draw a circle in a Kirby's Adventure. I don't think she really needs wrinkles. That's not what Jean's style is all about. But we can get that in there. Two more. Dumi Shi, director of Pixar's Turning Red, and Enrico Casarosa, director of Luca. Ah, those styles. Maybe. They're not on the wheel, but those might be good for another time. Trying to get the mouth shape right, my goodness. Then I think we'll do this. With the eyelashes, they'll just be like 2 lines. Yeah, we might as well have like just little tiny black, just solid eyebrows like that. Almost like a Terrible Tessie. One of Gene Deitch's solo cartoons. I think no one say about the Chris Sanders style or David Cherkassky, the director of Treasure Island. Oh, Treasure Island 1990. Oh wait, is that what I think it is? Hold on. I might be thinking of something completely different. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking of a different Treasure Island. Yeah, this one with like the walking meme. I forgot what it was called exactly, but like you had like the Dr. Livesey or something. See, I was thinking of the Bulgarian Treasure Island where like it's in space and it like the animation is so jittery and it's literally a drug trip. If any of y'all are craving for some really unhinged animation, look up the Bulgarian Treasure Planet. I think it's from 1982. It is the weirdest freaking thing I've ever seen. Just trying to get this. There we go. Alright, I like that. That's good. Yeah, the one of the meme. I think the Bulgarian one's got a couple of memes too. It's funny how both of the foreign Treasure Island movies, have memes for both of them. It's kind of ironic. I just said Treasure Planet on instinct because that's like the only Treasure Island adaptation that like I'm really familiar with. Other than Muppets Treasure Island, I guess that one counts as well. Just gonna do it like this. Probably not gonna do a full body here. I probably can get away with like coloring these cheek marks a little bit, so let's do that. Can't troll because I could say Dingo Productions for video recording. That might just be a fun drawing I end up doing. It's just like my cast in the Dingo Pictures style. I'm actually gonna throw down like the April Fool's Day quota. That might be what I do next year. Is just like a Dingo Pictures cartoon. But this is serious stuff. Yeah, serious stuff. No, I agree. That is amazing. Bulgarian Treasure Planet, I mean. Yeah, that one is... It's the weirdest thing. It's charming, but it's very bizarre. Like, I thought I was legitimately high on something when I was watching it. Okay. Anyways, there's Gene Deitch, Maggie. That one turned out pretty good, so I think we're ready to move on to the next one. We've only done 5 in the span of an hour and 40 minutes. I feel kind of bad for how slow I'm going, so apologies. I probably, looking at the time, I'll probably do like 2 or 3 more. Okay, but let's just get to the character wheel. We'll just play it by ear. Okay, got her off. Shuffle, spin. Yee. Oh, just barely. Arty Aardvark, my other pet character. Alright, let me get his ref sheep up real quick. I call it a ref sheep again. Beep, beep, I'm a sheet. There we go. There's Arty. Literally just the Aardvark guy. Now, this one could be really bad too. I could get some really bad luck with the style here on this dude. So, this could be pretty wacky. So let's hope for the best here. All right, shuffle, spin. I'm not even sure if I even want to look, if I'm being honest. I'm not looking right now. I'm gonna open my eyes now. Who is it? Oh, okay, another good one, Aardman. Okay, perfect. This one's probably gonna go really well then. All right, that's a good deal. This wheel has been so generous. It really has. I think that justifies another round of this. There's gotta be at least one round coming where, like, I'm punished really badly, right? I don't know. So let's get some Aardman stuff going here. Yeah, you got that one. I was about to say, it's just like, I think somebody, like, wanted to see the Aardman style, so... Yeah, there you go, man. We're doing it. Now, the unfortunate thing with Aardman that I really didn't consider is the fact that, you know, obviously all of Aardman's shows and movies are stop motion. They're a stop motion studio. So I unfortunately can't set up a camera, pump some clay out, and sculpt an actual model of Arty real quick. That would be too much. But I can at least get, like, the visual style down somewhat. So let's get that figured out. I can at least get, like, the visual style and just the eyes or something like that down. The smile, maybe. Hey, Jordan, I'm doing pretty good today. I'm a little sleepy, but we're doing good. The Wheel of Fortune, quite literally, yes. It's just been Wheel of Fortune all day. Which I'm completely content with. I don't know how I would have lived if I had to do, like, Arty in the Family Guy style. Okay, just trying to get, like, several different Aardman characters up here just for more reference. Now, why is that image so big? He's just like, hey, check out my sheep. Oh wow, they're all young in this picture. I guess I didn't look at it close enough. That's no problem. And hold on, let me get an image from, like, the greatest work of cinema of all time. Give me 1 second. Chicken Run, literal cinema, masterpiece, 11 out of 10. Okay, let's get drawn. Fleshway and Arthur Christmas Married in 3D. That's true. That is very true. Yes, both of those were in 3D. It's funny because Arthur Christmas, I keep forgetting that's Aardman because it doesn't look like a typical Aardman production. It doesn't have the signature look, but Fleshed Away did. And I think that confused me as a kid because I was like, well, hold on. Why are the characters moving like this? Because, you know, I'd watch Wallace and Gromit, which is always stop motion. I'm just like, they don't move like Gromit. What kind of nonsense is this? So I'm probably going to go with like a more Gromit angle with this. Just the way his, like, the fact that he doesn't really have a visible mouth. I kind of want to go the Gromit route. Gotta get the eyes right, though. They're very circular. So I want to actually match that circularity. I'm going to give him like a brow ridge. Kind of similar to Gromit. And I gotta get like the center holes in the eyes. You know, the ones that they use to actually move the eyes while they're doing the stop motion. Which again is like a super clever thing. I gotta give him a body too. Because, you know, this is Aardman we're talking about. Very rarely is there just like an animal that's just a plain animal. Unless we're talking about like Pirates and Adventures with Scientists with the Dodo, who is, in my mind, the objectively best non-Wallace Gromit character of Aardman. Sup, my tender homies? Hey, Michael, how's it going? Creature Comforts? I was actually watching some Creature Comforts not that long ago. I was genuinely really surprised with how charming that series was. I can see why the original short won the Oscar for Best Short Film. It really is amazing. I think that's like the signature of Aardman, is like all their work is just insanely charming. Like, it's not only just like really well animated, well produced, just really well thought out stories or whatnot, and great characters. It's just everything about the worlds and these characters just screams charming. And I think that's why they've had such a lasting impact for so long. And I'm happy for them. I'm really glad that they're still kicking and doing well. Recommend some images from Armin's Classic. Yeah, I think that could work to get an idea of an ordinary animal. You know, it is really funny that I did mention in Aardman that you rarely ever see like a normal animal character, and then here we are just talking about Creature Comforts. You know, it is what it is, but that's okay. Just scratch what I said before. Just pretend I said nothing. Oh, that's so funny. I'm gonna go like the Gromit route with Arty still though, just because I think it's funnier. Probably gonna try like a thinner line work style, because that might work a little bit better with rendering these out. Again, if I use my normal line work method, it probably wouldn't even look like the style that I'm trying to replicate anymore. So I'm probably gonna actually cut out those wrinkles. I'm trying to eliminate my style out of the equation. That's why I'm doing this stream. That's the whole point of this sort of art challenge. There we go. Let's get the eye. Nope, that's my normal brush. There we go. Get the eyes in there. They're honestly probably a little smaller than that. Or the eyes itself, I mean, they're probably a little bit bigger. Well, they're kind of made of like 3 sections. You got like the main eye, like the pupil, the iris in the middle. If I can actually get the shape right. And then you got like the hole in the eye. That's kind of how it works. We'll do it like that for now. If I end up not liking it, I'll just go back to the drawing board. Maybe I'll include some like weird line imperfections because it might, in a way, replicate like the messiness of the clay. Or whatever the specific material that they use is, because I forgot the name of it. I know there's definitely more than one kind of clay and like moldable material, but I think there's one that Aardman uses specifically that allows them for a lot more flexibility with the characters and the movements. What are your thoughts on Chicken Run 2 Dawn of the Nugget? I still haven't seen that. And now that you say that, I probably should while I still got my Netflix subscription. No, I have not seen that, so I don't have any thoughts currently. But I'll have to give that a watch. I've heard mixed opinions, but the fact that I, like, love Chicken Run as much as I do, I'm sure I'll enjoy it either way, whether I think it's, like, a great movie or not. And also, Vengeance Most Foul is on Netflix as well. I gotta watch that, too. I'm a little bit behind on all of Aardman's new stuff. Close that out too. I feel like Chicken Run is what started it all for me. Chicken Run ignited something in my soul. I don't know how to describe it. No, it's just a genuinely really fun movie. Like, I joked about being high art, but like, maybe not, but it's just relentlessly entertaining and like such a joyride. It's one of those films that like I could rewatch over and over again. It's a really fun casual watch. There are many musicians in the country similar to Aardman, like Sam Smith, Ed Sheeran, and even the band Coldplay. Wait a minute, are we talking about the same Aardman? Because we're talking Aardman the studio, not the bands. For what if your OCs can be perfect Gen 1 Pokemon sprite? Hold on, I know exactly who would be the most perfect. Probably Timothy. He's probably the closest to like a Pokemon out of all of them, so he would probably adapt to like a Gen 1 Pokemon sprite pretty adequately if I were to pick of all of them. Okay, well, the line work isn't really good, but I kind of decided to just try it. I almost wanted the colors to take more prominence over just like the line work, because again, it's 3D. I'm sure there's something I can do with this. Could like Golbat Gen 1 sprite. This is actually looking really silly right now. I kind of like it. I might add some like 3 dimensions to this guy to make it a little bit, to sell the look a little bit more. Otherwise, I think I'll give him like brown eyes maybe. Let's see. I mean that kind of works. It kind of matches the aesthetic a little bit. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to like get some shading going, but like make it really messy, so it almost looks a little bit more like fingerprints or smudges or that sort of thing, because that might actually help out. I may have gone off topic. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to specifically. it might be something painfully obvious, knowing me, who's always oblivious to this stuff. But I'm not entirely sure, like, what it is you're referring to by that. See, I'm not really sure if this is really selling the look, if I'm being honest. It's just kind of making him look a little, like, dirty. I don't know, maybe I just gotta stay dedicated to it just a little bit longer. Like maybe if I did something like this. He looks very concerned. He's very concerned. He's just like, excuse me, what is this? Why am I standing upright? What is the reasoning behind this? Again, I try to emulate Gromit a little bit with this. Because, like, that's the first thing that kind of came to mind when I thought, okay, Arty and Aardman. It's gotta be this. I gotta close out some of these gaps, actually. Should have probably done that before I did all the shading stuff. And all this. Here's what I can do to maybe help out with the eyes a little bit. Let's, like, get some kind of shading under those. Because the eyes are, like, completely under the brow ridge, so if I did something a little bit more like this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure about this. But it is what it is. It's not too bad, I guess. I wonder if I, like... maybe. It is what it is. There you go. There's Arty in the Aardman style. That's actually kind of perfect now that they're paired together. 2 Ards for the price of 1. Gromit, we need the cheese! No crack, Gromit. We've forgotten the crack. Kind of the vibes of Aardman. Yeah. Aardman, yeah. Goes my question about musicians. What did you ask about musicians? Oh, I might have to search for that comment elsewhere. Thoughts on John K? I am not really sure if I want to go into that. That is a very loaded question. I guess I'll limit to like a couple sentences. He was my idol when I was a wee young lad. But then, of course, when the news all came out, a lot of my perspectives changed. I respect his abilities as an artist, even now with his weird art style now and some of his random shorts, but I cannot sympathize with that man at all. It's very hard to. And I'm glad he's kind of getting the backlash that he long deserved. He's a real talent, but man, he's a miserable person. Creator of Uncle Grandpa doing an Aardman project for Pokemon? Oh, like Pete Brownguard? Well, I thought I heard that they were doing that Aardman and Pokemon were collaborating on a project. I didn't hear anything about Pete Brownguard working on it. I guess I'll have to look into that. Can we add Tim Burton or Leica to the wheel next time? Man, you guys are launching in some really good ones. It makes me kind of wish I'd thrown those on the wheel. But that's okay. So it's 3 o'clock. I don't know. I feel like I need to do at least 2 more. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw 2 more. We're going to go over time as I always do. Because I'm just like that. And plus, I'm having quite a bit of fun, so might as well milk it for all it's worth. The crack... The Wallace voice, a possible character in the style of Chucklebone, would be cool to add on the list. That sounds familiar? I'll have to look into that. I'm not really sure what Chucklebone is. Doing Leo, Russian Blue from Kitty in My Pocket, and Rankin Bass 60 style. I was thinking about Rankin Bass for a second, but I decided I wanted to make room for some other styles that I would probably be more interested in doing. But maybe next time. Nice. No crack grommet! We've forgotten the crack. Let's get to the character wheel. Alright, I already axed Arty off, so let's shuffle. And here we go. Thoughts about Bob Camp. Now, I really like Bob Camp a lot. He's a great guy. A really talented draftsman. Professor Frizzle. Okay, this one might be kind of interesting. Alright, let's crank out the frizz. Where is he? He's right here. There he is. Professor Frizzle. Again, another character that, depending on the style, this could either go really well or really terribly. I kind of want things to go badly for once, because so far it's all been artists that I really admire and like, and I appreciate their styles, but I want something really goofy here. So let's spin the wheel again. Gotta keep up with chat. The creators of Smiling Friends are awesome. Yeah, the folks over working on Smiling Friends are really great. Huh, okay, this one's interesting. Ari Gibson. I really like Ari Gibson. I'll fill you in, guys, on who that is specifically, but I don't know. His style is quite different from mine, so I gotta figure out what to do here. Alright, we got a challenge, folks. Please get NA style, will I beg? Friends with him on Facebook before I was hacked. Oh, really? Gotcha. Chucklebone is a YouTube animator, makes very funny animated shorts. Recommend the Monsters Inc. one. I guess I'll have to look into Chucklebone. I can't say I've ever heard of their stuff. I haven't been in a room this big since I was in Mike Wazowski's kitchen. Alright. So have any of you played Hollow Knight? All of the background art, all of the character designs, all of the animation, almost single-handedly done by Ari Gibson. All of that is his stuff. It's absolutely insane and mind-boggling how he was able to pull it off. But yeah, that's essentially what we're gonna do, is the Hollow Knight style. I gotta try to... Yeah, it's the guy from Hollow Knight. Yep, that's him. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out what to do here. Hold on. I wonder if I can just get, like, several images of, like, the characters together. Yeah, something like this. Because I almost want to draw Frizzle like he's one of the inhabitants of Hollow Nest. So something like this would work out really great. And then, what else? I wasn't even, like, paying attention to the funny names on some of those sheets there. That's funny. Yakety Yak, Sawbug. We're just gonna copy these for fun. Why not? Snappy, One-Eyed Bob, Tentacles, Spork, Silkson's dad. Okay, guys, I need to stop. I need to relax and actually focus. I'm getting too self-indulgent here. He did all of that? He did almost all of it. I'm pretty sure he did basically all of it. And I'm sure he did most of the Silkson stuff as well. But yeah, that guy is a mad talent. He's amazing. Rebel sucked butt, though. I suppose many other guys deserve better. Yeah. I don't want to talk about the Ren and Stimpy reboot, if I'm being honest. That's just... The whole story behind that's just depressing to me. It could have been so good, especially when they had some of the... They were bringing on the original folks, but from what I heard, they were just being treated real poorly. It's really sad. Silkson on September... Silkson in 1 week from today. 1 week away from Silkson. I am losing my crap. It's... Ugh. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited about anything in literal ages. Ugh. It makes me so happy. So happy. Those names are so good. They're amazing. Yakety Yak mentioned in 2025. What a world we live in, right? And don't talk back. So luckily, I guess in this case, Frizzle is he's almost like insectoid shaped slightly. So I might be able to actually get something from him, surprisingly. I don't get enough opportunities to go on about Hollow Knight, but long story short, it's one of my favorite things ever made by humanity. It's the best game I've ever played, and I really don't think anything can top it, except Silksong if that manages to be better. Imagine if that's how it was in the game. Yeah, I know. Imagine fighting a Lady Dagger as the final boss fight. Looks like the game from Adventure Time. Kinda. A little bit. You have class today. Goodbye. Bye, Daydreamy. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you having you on. Yeah, luckily I might be able to spin this just enough so that way it looks like Hollow Knight-y-ish. I believe I can do it. He's just going to turn into a bug. That's really what's going to happen. Also, I may propose Child of Light. That sounds familiar. I'll have to look into that. I want to get like the Ari Gibson hands. They're really kind of sharp like that. I want to keep his attire on though, because I just want it to still fit within the universe a little bit. Maybe in this context we'll like make it really oversized. So it's almost like a cloak. Because there's a lot of cloaks in Hollow Knight for those that have played it. There's almost too many cloaks. No, you can never have too many cloaks. There we go. I'm actually digging this. Holy cow. I'm really liking this. So beautiful, and the music is banner. Christopher Larkin is a mad genius. He's literally a living legend. I adore his soundtrack to pieces. I think it's like one of the few games that actually gets me emotional about almost everything. Like, it's just so unbelievably beautiful. And it's just got it all. It's simultaneously beautiful, tear-jerking, hilarious, exciting. It's everything you could ever want out of a video game, honestly. Say this, at least John K. didn't screw up his life as badly as Kyle Carosa. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole if that's okay with you. I really don't feel comfortable with that. Let's just move on if that's okay with you. I hate to be that guy, but I don't want to get into it. Let's reel it back a little bit. Ian Vasquez from SpongeBob? Okay. Wish the creator of 12 Forever wasn't a contender. Okay. Guys, let's back it up. I don't want to talk about pedophiles. That's not what this stream's about. There we go. He's got like really funky hair now. And his mouth is almost kind of like a fly. So that's maybe like what he's going to become. He's like a big fly. A scientist fly man. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's coming together. This is coming together. My bad, bro. It's about cartoons. Exactly. This is what we're here for. We're here to talk cartoons, not pedophiles. Yeah, make it kind of nice and fly-ish. He's got a long snoot. Sugar Dimps, yeah, I was willing to give her a benefit to the doubt, but then again, Powerpuff Girls 2016. I haven't even seen the original Powerpuff Girls. I unfortunately have witnessed several episodes of the reboot when I was younger, and you know, I kind of view my life in two eras: the pre and post viewings of those few episodes. I have never become. I'm not the same man after watching those. I've been scarred for life. You could give him little wings. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm all up for that. Okay, there we go. He's just got a really long cloak. Just to fit in a little bit more with the theme of something like Hollow Knight. For anybody curious about Ari Gibson and his other stuff, check out his short film, The Cat Piano. It's deliciously dark, and it's really invigorating stuff. It's a brilliant short film. Hold on, I gotta catch up with the chat. They just, sorry my dude, they just pop up in the kids industry. Yeah, unfortunately. Are you a fan of Johnny Ryan? I don't even know who Johnny Ryan is, if I'm being honest. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe it's like a complete cloth or something, so he's got like his forearms here. And then he's got like his hands. Which again are kind of like very sharp fingers like this. Let's maybe go with like the original plan. I don't like that nearly as much. Such instantly unsubscribing for not watching OG Powerpuff Girls. Okay, I will watch OG Powerpuff Girls at some point. It will happen one day. I feel like it's only appropriate since I've watched through the entirety of Dexter's Lab several times. So, I'm putting that on my bucket list. So I felt after watching Evangelion. I've heard that show's it's pretty nuts. That whole series. He's a comics guy, and he worked on those new Looney Tunes cartoons that Peter Brown read. Oh! Okay, then I'm not I guess I'm just not familiar with the Johnny Ryan name. I'd have to look up his work online, I think. But I recognize all that stuff that he's been in. Okay, I gotta make this. I probably could have gone with like thicker line work here to match the style a little bit better, but it is what it is. I call it my Stockholm Syndrome anime on account of how much I liked it until it scarred me for life. Yeah, that's what I hear from everybody. It's just like, man, it was really great up until this particular part. I obviously don't know what that particular part is, but apparently there's a couple moments in that where it just, everybody gets scarred from it. Okay, let's color this guy in. Okay, didn't mean to merge those two together. Check out the anime version as well. It's like, what? Yeah, I heard that there was a Powerpuff Girls anime. It looks kind of interesting. Maybe I'll give it a watch. What would his role in the game be if he was in it? Like, just a random NPC or something else? Well, let's see. He would probably be some, like, broken down scientist, I would imagine. Like, he's past his prime, and, like, I don't know, he would maybe sell your main hero, like, certain elixirs or, like, power-up beefs of some sort, maybe? Something of that nature? I'm not really sure. We're really gonna dull out the colors, because that's just Hollow Knight for you. Something a little bit more on those lines. A little darker. There we go. The particular part is anything that follows episode 19. Alright, dutifully noted. Give him black eyes. Maybe here's one thing we can do. We can make that red, or like the orange, the infection color. It can glow maybe. I'll try to throw on some shading on this dude as well, because that's part of the Hollow Knight aesthetic a little bit. But there's not a lot. It's mostly just like rim lighting. My anime would be Devilman Crybaby, except I refuse to rewatch it again. I don't think I've ever heard that one. I've seen a good amount of Hot Diggity Demons videos. Yes, I have seen a lot of those. What'd I tell you about getting in my shed? I may or may not have been scarred as a child watching some of those. Different era. Wonder if I should add like some eye shines here. Nah. He's good just like that. And then maybe for this, get some shading going with his back a little bit, with his cloak. I'll just color in that arm again once I get to it. I'm actually really liking this so far. Holy cow. Like, it's actually turning out pretty neat. And then we can maybe lower the opacity there, and we can make the arm a little bit of a darker color as well. And all in hopes that my adult brain would be able to better understand and cope with all I was watching. I made it all of an episode and a half. Years, because he was on that racist stuff for a while with Connie and SU. Oh boy, more drama. I don't know how much more drama I can take, guys. I'm just an innocent man. Alright. There, we're just gonna end it there. I think that's good enough. There's R.E. Gibson Frizzle. I like this one a lot. This one turned out really good. Just gonna add some like... Okay. We're not done, actually. Just gonna add a shine here. There we go. Perfect. Alright. So, I'm gonna do one more. And then after that, I'm just gonna call it a day. Because we're already going over time. But that's fine. That's okay. We'll just get the one character done, and then we'll all move on. We'll continue on with our days. So let's go back to the wheel. Lo siento, the world is so dramatic, unfortunately. Yes, it is. I wish it wasn't. Alright, last character. Shuffle. Spin. Thought it was funny, but I get that type of edgy humor is not for everyone. Not for everyone. Ooh, Charles Clampett. My man. Okay, we can do him. Yeah, at least it seems like Max has learned from it. I don't really know the entire story, but I guess from experience, like, I know he was there during, like, late 2000s, early 2010s, like, that sort of internet environment. A lot of content creators, especially, like, comedy YouTubers, like, really, like, more than often try to press as many buttons as they can for jokes. So there's a lot of old YouTube that really doesn't age very well and is kind of offensive these days. Because, you know, less standards back then. And I think people were way less careful with what they were saying. Again, they were trying to be offensive to kind of catch an audience or like catch people off guard, which it worked. Not for the betterment of society, though. Difference between edge and comedy. South Park does it lovely. I guess it depends on the episode. Or the context of the episodes, I guess. And Max did work on SpongeBob. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Alright. Last art style. Here we go. Spin the wheel one more time. What's it gonna be? What is it gonna be? Ooh! Wow, we literally got like none of my meme styles in here. I'll take it. Alright, Darren Nefsey. Let's go. I like Darren Nefsey's work, Sumi. Zach Hadel. I recognize that name. Yeah, early 2000s was the emo face of the of the human race. That's a brilliant quote. That is, you nailed it on the head right there. Okay, let's get Darren Nefsey up here. Let's go, my girl. Yeah, I know, right? I know there's like a lot of negative press with Star vs. the Forces of Evil now, and just like her current work, but I don't know, man. It tickles all of my funny bones. It's just, I really enjoy it. There's something about it that's just so, what's the right word? Like honest and pure about it. It's just really charming. I like her aesthetic a lot. So I'm gonna get some examples up here. Yeah, it's Zach Halo Cycle Pebbles. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's where I thought I heard that name. I think I missed a comment at some point. Yeah, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'm kind of losing it, folks. I'm not really sure. Okay. Ooh, I love these. These are really great. Early Star versus development sketches and whatnot. Okay, let me better organize this. This is kind of a mess. It's literally a disaster. Let me save that before I lose it. Okay, so we'll shrink, clamp it down. Star vs. the Force of Evil got me through my teenage years. In a way, I mean, that show was kind of made for teenage audiences, so it kind of came into my life at a perfect time, I think. That's the audience it was really meant for. And I think, in that regard, it appealed to me quite well. And I still really like it, in spite of all the flaws. Hendy was absolute cripe, but I know it wasn't completely on her. No. The whole ending, like the finale of the show, gets a little complicated. Because, like, I really don't think it was out of incompetence. That sounds silly to me, because the crew working on that show were obviously all really talented. I think there was just some sort of, like, mismanagement going on, and I just really don't know where that could have spawned from. It's tricky. I'm not really sure how to go about that, but part of me does wish that people could, you know, give the show some grace. Like, even though the ending was kind of poo-poo. It's like, well, the show was really great sometimes. You could at least acknowledge that. It's like, almost any time anybody wants to talk about the show, it's just like, well, it ended like trash. Some shows are just like that, unfortunately. Kept up with Nefsey's work since Star. Horribly. Wasn't she working on something for Nickelodeon? I have no idea what she's working on now. I'm not really sure if she plans on working on another show, if I'm being honest. Again, I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into it. But it would be nice to hear from her again, at least. Because I missed seeing her stuff. At least on the tubes. ADHD type of scream. Kenny Pettinger's work on Star vs. Add Noel Stevenson to the wheel next. Okay, who's Noel Stevenson? Okay, we don't need the wheel infiltrating my stream for the third time. Noel Stevenson. Especially as okay. Oh, She-Ra. Okay, yeah, that's where I've heard that name before. Not really familiar with his work, if I'm being honest. Kind of a bully. Clownfish TV had a beef with her. Uh, Again, do I want to get into more drama, man? I don't know how much more I can take. Alright. Bean mouth warning for the anti-bean mouth guys. I mean, I can't really do anything else because that's like part of Nefsi's style is like it's very round. It's very much in line with like the sort of indie California like arts movement, that sort of deal. The Cal art style as been coined. I don't know. I think she approaches it like really well. What the? It's a trap. It's a trap. Y'all are doomed. You never thought it would succumb to the bean mouth. Honestly, I just find the whole argument really dumb and silly. Like, sure, it's not my favorite style. It's not. But, like, is it really the worst thing that's ever happened to animation? Come on, let's all recompose ourselves. I at least feel like Nefsi's approach to this sort of style is really appealing, especially in like season 1, Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I still think season 1 of that show is like one of the most glorious moments of like modern animated television. It's just, if you ask me, season 1's perfection, basically. Recent anime films are often Disney haters, and we know how they acted when Wish came out. Yeah. Well, they're like also like, well, Pixar really needs to stop with this bean mouth style. That's not them. And it's like, why aren't we just like also like looking at the film itself? Why are we just complaining about how the movie looks? Obviously, that's not. If these movies have issues, that's probably not the main problem. I don't know. People be silly sometimes. I'm just throwing that out there. Pretty butt ugly shows out there. Well, I'm not saying there aren't any. There definitely aren't any butt ugly shows. I still think most adult shows look like absolute crap these days. And I don't know. There's still a lot of like generic animation being made that I'm just like, wow, this really is not very imaginative. But for every like, you know, cruddy looking thing, there's like at least one really interesting piece of animation being made. I think it's just harder to really try anything new in today's climate, unfortunately. I mean, I hate to sound like, the old man over here in the corner, but I think that's kind of how it's been for a while. Wish wasn't good, though. Well, yeah, obviously I'm not saying that movie was a masterpiece. It wasn't. Literally everybody after Wish came out. Wow, Disney, how'd you make something so awful? Disney, my butt did it. Okay. I might be able to fix this a little bit when I actually start working on it. We'll see what I can do. Let me look at the Darren's line work a little bit. It's pretty clean as well, I would say. Nice and smooth, pretty thin as well, so we're gonna go with that sort of aesthetic, I think. The Brickleberries of the world. Yeah, Brickleberries is a really ugly looking show. My boy Elio got hate for the bean mouth argument despite having a very autistic story of how he wants to belong somewhere. Seriously, that film hit me hard so much. Yeah, I heard that Elio was actually pretty good. Like, it's a pretty well-made film. It's just everybody was just trying to spin like some weird anti-Pixar hate on it for some reason. Because lately people have been fishing for that sort of discussion. Like, I get it, Pixar's not where they used to be. They're definitely not, like, they're nowhere near their peaks of like the 2000s, but are they like churning out crap? I don't really believe so. At least not like Disney is over here, like just plain old Disney. That's worth complaining about, but like Pixar, I don't know. I think it's all very negative. It's like, why can't we just look at films like with constructive criticism anymore? Which could be dramatically improved by removing all of the song and dance numbers, all of them. It would have been better if they actually hired real like theater musicians to write the music for him, because they hired like pop songwriters, which when you think of classic Disney musicals is not, that's not what I think of. I don't think it's what anybody thinks of really. So Disney really screwed up there with the casting. They completely dropped the ball with that. People didn't watch Elio because they haven't heard of it. Yeah, the marketing was really bad for it. That's also another thing. Although, in retrospect, I feel like the argument that Disney purposely sabotaged that movie so it would do poorly doesn't make a lot of sense. Because, like, if you're going to be producing a movie, why would you want a movie to fail? Like, I mean, I get Disney's big, but at the same time, I don't know. I've kind of been questioning that argument a little bit more. But I can at least guarantee this, that yeah, Disney did a pretty poor job at marketing the darn thing. They really should have put more effort in making people aware of that movie. But they just kind of didn't. Like, they have the budget, they have like the marketing budget. I don't know why they just didn't use it. Super under-promoted. Made director remove a lot of stuff that explains more about the characters. It's pretty much a self-insert. Yeah, and that directs back to a comment that Peak Doctor made like a year or two ago in regards to Pixar and them changing directions storytelling-wise, where they're like, well, we got to start making stories that appeal to as like general of an audience as possible, that speak to everyone. So all of a sudden there's now this urge to remove like the really specific personal details of like the artists and the directors working on their stories. Which, for me, just kind of defeats the purpose of making a movie in the first place, if you ask me. It's just like, sorry, you can't include any of your personal perspective and your feelings and your emotions into this film you're directing. That's awful. I really hate that. I'm kind of scared for the future of Pixar because of that. It's just like, I really don't want to live in a world where every single movie that comes out is like so squeaky, sanitized, you know? It's just really depressing. Time to bring back hugs! He's experimenting with something new. Not saying they could make something amazing 100% like a Lightyear, but they still want to... I think they're still just trying to find their footing again, because it's been a while. And, you know, with management going on, and like just with how a lot of their films have been kind of been doing lately, I don't know, I think it's just hard for them to kind of get back on their feet. Especially if they're getting like words from like executives or like marketing agents that are just like, well, we want something completely different. And they're like, well, we've been working towards this. And like, nope, change it up a little bit. The poor folks at Pixar are really suffering over there. Market their cruddy Disney remakes and market something new. Yeah, unfortunately. They gotta save their marketing budget for Mufasa. Because the original films, we gotta make them go bye-bye. That's just how it works around here. So sad. There we go. I got the hair right now. I was trying to get the symmetry right, or the symmetry, however you say that word. Attorney Red Luca. Yeah. Explore, create new stories. Yeah, exactly. At least last year wasn't a good start. Again! Ah! I feel bad for Pink Doctor. I feel bad for Pete too, because he's an actual filmmaker. He was probably had no choice but to like say this stuff, just because like there's literally no other way that they're gonna keep our doors open. So I am really sad about that, especially since Pete, like directed some of Pixar's absolute best, like Monsters Inc., Up, Inside Out, those ones, and Soul, which I still need to see. About how it was about his childhood and how he didn't fit in because he was gay, and then they made him remove all the LGBTQ plus themes. Huh, that sounds like another Pixar production, doesn't it? Absolutely, like, atrocious, really sad. I think when Inside Out 2 came out, there was a huge IGN article that basically, like, not necessarily an expose, but basically, like, laid down all the crap that all the animators had to deal with on that. And that was another production where, like, halfway through, Disney was just like, well guys, we gotta cut out all the LGBTQ stuff, because, like, we gotta be able to reach, like, every market. We want this money to make as much money as possible. So we gotta reach every single demographic. Even though it was, like, intrinsic to the story, so they had to, like, make really quick story changes to it all. I just find it kind of salty, or, like, just really mean-spirited. And also misguided, because, like, especially Disney, they can't make up their mind on what their values are. They're like people pleasers. And it's really annoying. But yeah, that sort of thing is just really upsetting. It's like, no, we will not let you have creative freedom on this. You must remove the personal bits to your story. It's like, screw off. People were praising, giving them crap for having that one passing line about a cop having a wife and onward. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, Disney almost wanted, like, let's see if we can get the praise by, like, doing as little as possible. So, like, we gotta have this line. They'll love us for it. It literally did nothing, because, like, does Disney really believe in this, or are they doing it just to get publicity? They're doing it just to get publicity. Classic Disney. But I love Joy and Inside Out. Inside Out is incredible. Toxic positivity. You nailed it on the head. That's exactly where Disney finds themselves right now. You heard of Snoop Dogg trashed Lightyear recently? Oh, did Snoop Dogg not like Lightyear? Okay. That's kind of random, but it's also kind of funny. Really need to speed up on my Charles here. I'm getting a little slow again. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. Okay, what else? Important for people to tell their own stories. It may not be applicable to everyone, and I can relate to this, but people can gain understanding. Exactly. There's something beautiful about stories that are really specific, Like, I get it trying to appeal to, like, a wide audience, but that's, like, what storytelling is all about, is sharing personal experiences. And then people relating, that can relate to those certain experiences. Storytelling is really meant to be, like, an outlet for that sort of thing. And when you're not allowed to have that outlet, it's just, what's the point exactly, It's just, at that point, you're making a product. Yeah, I really don't get this whole fixation. It's just like, we gotta make sure all of our stories appeal to everyone. It doesn't always have to be the case. In fact, I think that's a really scary thing. It's like me going with my drawings. It's just like, I gotta make sure my drawings, my style appeals to everyone. And then drawing in the most, like, bland, uninteresting way. That's, like, doesn't say anything about my personality or who I am. After the murdered Club Penguin, I can't see Disney the same. No, they are not. That was the start of their downfall. Was when they killed Club Penguin. Getting this bean mouth sort of thing going on. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Jeez, okay, I need to figure out Charles's eye. It's like completely screwed up. I'm trying to figure out like what could make it a little bit better looking. There we go. I just had to move it. That's all I had to do. But now there's a weird funky tangent going on, so let me move it a little further down maybe. That works. We'll go with that. It's not going to be perfect, but, you know. Well, to be fair, that's all they do is make products, and I think that's why everything feels so hollow these days. Because it's about the product, it's not really about art anymore. That's the really depressing thing about it. But I think people can tell when they're being fed a product and not a piece of art, which is where a lot of this backlash, I think, is coming from, and rightfully so. I'm hoping that it gets loud enough that, like, the companies like this will start listening, but as long as they keep making money, I'm not really sure, unfortunately. Their Star Wars movies sucked major. It was a payday for, and not for the fans. Exactly. It was just like, hey, imagine all the money we can make on these movies. You know, cashing in on that nostalgia, just, or the existence of just new Star Wars. We're not going to actually make, like meaningful follow-ups to these stories. That's ridiculous. In a nutshell, basically. The first person to not try to nostalgia watch me over the whole Club Penguin thing. Well, in all fairness, I have not played Club Penguin. So I do not have a lot of experiences with Club Penguin. I just know it exists, and it was a big part of the 2000s, but you know what I was playing when it came to, like, online games of that sort? I was playing, like, Jumpstart. I wasn't really playing Club Penguin. I wasn't rich enough to play Club Penguin. Not that I even needed money. Don't get me started on Star Wars. Yeah. Don't get me started on Star Wars either. I'm not even, like, really a Star Wars diehard, but even I'm, like, depressed on what they've done with that series. Personally still like Disney, at least on their animation side, but I do agree with the live action. Yeah, I don't know, as somebody that, like, really admired Disney when I was a kid, those are really the first films that I loved growing up. Were those, like, 90s movies and, like, some of the older ones. Those were the ones that I really loved at first. So it's just sad for me to see them in this state. And I want to see them in a better spot, but I just, with the way they're operating things right now, I just don't know how that's going to come about. But I'm going to try to remain optimistic. Maybe things can change. It's just, we gotta demand that, no, we don't want more stuff like Mufasa, okay? That's what we need to do. Or wish. Whatever you want to call it. Okay. There he is, finally. That took me a long time. I was just... admittedly, I was getting a little bit too invested into the chat conversation. You guys are a blast to talk with. But I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up there. Because it's 3:44. So I'm over by, like, 44 minutes. And if I was going to shoot for, like, the 3:30 mantra, I'm still over by, like, 14. So I should probably try to wrap things up here. Somehow my penguin was swagged out and my numerous puffles were well fed. Well, I'm glad. Those puffles deserve to be treated with highest respect, for sure. Can't get over Dumbo's creepy human eyes. Brings me back to, like, Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen. Just a little bit. Not as bad as that movie, but close. Hopefully we can get an executive change, but who knows. We just need to get Bob Iger out of here. Just sentence him. Ralph said Disney paralyzed a guy back in the day where they were like, you're with us or you're nothing, and they bought into it. By Ralph, I'm assuming you're saying Ralph Bakshi. Because I know he's had a lot to say about Disney and their current state. I mean, obviously, as he was like kind of the anti-Disney at the time he was doing all of his adult movies. Time to head out, super fun. Yeah, I'll put part 2 on the docket because this was really fun to try out. Again, I'm sorry I wasn't nearly as fast as I thought I would be, but it was fun legitimately doing all these, and just kind of fun to like try this stuff out. He's looking kind of ugly. Yeah, no matter. Into the vault with him, exactly. But no, I had a great time with this. Thank you all for sticking with me on this. I know I wasn't in the highest of spirits, at least mentally. It's kind of been an exhausting week for me, the past couple of weeks. But this was legit a really fun time. And I really enjoyed drawing all of these. I don't think I particularly suffered with all of them. I think I survived okay. So that's good news for me. But let's definitely do something like this again in the future, because we're only scratching the surface with the different styles that I could try out. And obviously there's way more that still on the wheel that I can do. So let's definitely schedule this another time. I'm not sure what we're going to do for next month's stream. It might be this again, but I'm thinking I might want to try something different. Part 2 might be something I fall back on in case like I'm out of ideas and just want something easy and quick to do. Quick to set up at least. So we might get back to this. We will see. But otherwise, thank you all for coming to this. This was super fun as always. And I'll see you all next month. When is that going to be? On the 25th of September. So mark that on the calendars. I might put that somewhere too when I'm going through all the stream stuff and posting online about it. But yeah, any closing thoughts? Let's see. He was number 1. I forgot to say I requested for Aardman. Yeah, we ended up getting Aardman, so that's pretty neat. There's a for real celebrity here for the Jim Tire. Yeah, absolutely for Jim Tire. Alright, I'm gonna call it a day. I need some rest, so bye-bye, folks. Adios! Sorry for the major lack of Peter Griffin. Maybe next time. Hey, Lois, remember that one time when